Welcome! In this video I'll be replacing the oxygen sensor in this 2006 Honda Odyssey, and I'll be replacing it with the ZBN oxygen sensor. And if you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. I'm also going to be using this 7/8 inch or 22mm oxygen sensor removal tool. So that's just the black part here, and then I have a flex head ratchet and a 6-inch extension. So I ran a scan and it said the Bank 2 sensor 1 was bad, so I'm just going to try replacing it. So that is the sensor above the catalytic converter on the front of the engine. So let's get some light down here. So this is the connector for it right here above my finger, and it is currently zip tied to a grounding cable. So I'll cut that zip tie. It's going to be a little cramped in here. Hopefully I can get some somewhat decent camera angles. So I'll just go in here and snip this zip tie. Now I do want to remove this so it doesn't end up on the exhaust and start melting. So now I need to unclip this. We need to press in right here and pull this apart. So I'm pushing in there and I'll pull the other side apart. So now I want to remove the oxygen sensor. So that is right here. So I have this socket and I have it on the extension. There's a little cut in it. I'll slip that over the wire. And then I need to kind of rotate it and place it down over the sensor. So we're going to be loosening this, so I want it on the left side. Now I sprayed some penetrating oil on that earlier today. I'll put my flex head ratchet on there. And I'll loosen that. Okay, so I got it loose. Let's see if I can thread it out by hand now. Get the tool out of there. And there we have the old oxygen sensor. I'll get the new one out. I'll need to cut that zip tie. And there's plastic around the sensor. Pull that off. So I'll make sure that matches up. That looks good. The other end matches up. You can see it has a little crush gasket here. So I'll get the old one out of the way. And I'm going to hand thread this one in. I want to make sure I don't cross thread it. And you can see it has an anti-seize on the threads already. Okay, I had to get the camera out of the way to get that started. But you want to keep the wire up here as you tighten it so this doesn't get twisted. So you want to make sure this is twisting at the same time you're tightening this. Okay, so I tightened that by hand. I'm going to get my tool back out. Slide this over the wire. And somehow or another, I'm going to try and get a torque wrench in there and torque it to 33 foot-pounds. Okay, so I sped through that a bit, but that was not an easy task, but I did get it torqued. Next, I'm going to connect up the wire. And I'll re-zip tie this wire. I don't know if it's missing a bracket or if this is how it was from the factory, but. So that was replacing the Bank 2 Sensor 1 oxygen sensor on a 2006 Honda Odyssey. This is probably the same procedure for many other Hondas with the 3.5 engine. It wasn't too terribly difficult. I would put some penetrating oil on there. It can help maybe also to heat the engine up, but you want to make sure you don't burn yourself. Sometimes these clips can be a little difficult to get apart, but I didn't have any trouble with it. And really probably the hardest part was torquing that down to spec. A lot of people would just tighten it, but I did want to torque it properly. Now you may wonder if this fixed the problem. I'm going to clear my code with my scan tool. I'm going to drive it and I'll test it again. And if the code still exists, this video will not see the light of day. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.